Security! Remove this ghetto spawn before it contaminates my restaurant. Executive David Morrison slams his fist down. He jabs his finger at 10-year-old Malik Johnson like pointing at a cockroach. Sir, he's just my son doing homework. Your mistake was breeding. Morrison yanks out his wallet and hurls a crumpled dollar bill at Amara's feet. Now clean that up with your welfare brat and disappear. His colleagues laugh as Morrison sweeps contract papers across the white tablecloth. Arabic text flashes under bright restaurant lights. Malik sits frozen in his corner booth. Every slur burns into his memory. Every insult against his mother cuts deep. These powerful executives assume the humiliated black child can't even read English. In 60 seconds, they'll discover he reads Arabic better than their million-dollar lawyers. And then he'll uncover a shocking secret that will destroy their empire. Malik returns to his math homework, hands shaking. The executives continue their conversation, voices loud with confidence. The Dubai partnership is perfect, Morrison's colleague says, shuffling papers. These immigrant tech companies are so trusting, they never read the fine print properly. Especially the Arabic sections, Morrison chuckles. They assume we're being respectful by including their language. They have no idea what it actually says. Malik's pencil hovers over his multiplication problem. His grandmother's voice echoes in his memory. Every Arabic letter carries meaning, Habibi. Read with your heart, not just your eyes. The contract pages flutter as air conditioning hits the table. Malik catches glimpses of familiar script mixed between English paragraphs. His eyes scan the Arabic text. The words make his stomach drop. Upon signature, all intellectual property, innovations, and future developments transfer permanently to Morrison Industries, regardless of English language provisions stated elsewhere in this agreement. The English version talks about mutual partnership and shared benefits. The Arabic version is pure theft. The next Tech brothers will sign tomorrow, Morrison continues. 2 Syrian refugees who think they're getting an investment deal. Instead, we're taking everything they've built. Malik's pencil snaps in his grip. 3 years ago, his Palestinian grandmother, Fatima, taught him those exact Arabic legal phrases. She'd escaped her homeland with nothing but language and prayers. Every evening after homework, she'd sit with Malik at their kitchen table. Someday, Habibi, your Arabic will help people who have no voice, she'd whispered, her wrinkled hands guiding his through each letter. Malik quietly tears a page from his notebook. His child's handwriting moves carefully across the paper, forming an Arabic script his grandmother would recognize. The executives assume the traumatized boy in the corner booth has already forgotten their cruelty. They don't know he's about to save 2 families from losing everything. The restaurant's dinner rush begins. Amara hurries between tables, avoiding Morrison's group. Malik sits alone with his broken pencil and torn notebook page, the executive's laughter still echoing in his ears. He pulls out his phone, a hand-me-down with a cracked screen. His small fingers type Next Tech Seattle into the search bar. The connection is slow, buffering like everything else in his life. The company website loads piece by piece. 2 young men smile from the homepage photo, holding a sleek medical device that looks like a small computer. The headline reads, Syrian brothers revolutionize heart monitor technology. Hassan and Omar Malik, same last name as his own. The coincidence feels like his grandmother's invisible hand guiding him across the restaurant floor. Malik scrolls down carefully. A quote appears in both English and Arabic. For our father, who taught us that refugees don't just survive, they rebuild the world. His chest tightens. These brothers look exactly like his Uncle Samir from the mosque. Their father's story sounds like every immigrant family he knows, men who carried PhD degrees in their pockets and cleaned office buildings at night. Malik clicks the About Us page. The brothers escaped Damascus 5 years ago with engineering degrees and empty pockets. They spent 2 years washing dishes while perfecting their invention in a garage. Their heart monitors could revolutionize refugee camp medical care, reaching patients that traditional hospitals never see. The device in their photo could help his grandmother's weak heart, could help thousands like her scattered across camps worldwide. People who flee everything but still dream of healing others. Tomorrow, Morrison plans to steal it all with forged words. The fluorescent lights hum overhead as Malik begins writing. His grandmother taught him formal Arabic script, the kind used in legal documents and holy books. Each letter curves with the precision she would admire, flowing like water across his notebook page. Dear respected brothers, he writes in Arabic, switching between his phone's translation app and muscle memory from countless evening lessons. The contract you will sign contains lies buried inside truth. The English words speak of partnership and mutual growth. The Arabic words steal your dreams and future children's inheritance. He pauses, chewing his lip until it tastes metallic. How does a 10-year-old explain corporate fraud to adults who've survived war? The bad men think Arabic families cannot read their own language properly. They believe refugees are grateful enough to sign anything. They hide theft inside religious blessings, using Allah's name to cover their sins. Please be careful with your signatures. From your brother in faith and language, Malik Johnson. His signature looks tiny at the bottom. He draws a small heart next to his name, the way he signs birthday cards for classmates who barely notice him. The executive's laughter grows louder behind him. Morrison orders another round of drinks to celebrate tomorrow's acquisition. They discuss other easy targets in the immigrant tech community, like hunters planning their next kill. The Somali restaurant app developers signed last week, one colleague chuckles, ice clinking against glass. They still think they own their software. Poor bastards are basically our employees now. The Ethiopian medical students were even easier, Morrison adds, desperate for legitimacy. They signed away 3 patents for what they thought was mentorship. Malik's stomach churns acid. How many families has Morrison already destroyed? How many dreams crushed under legal papers they couldn't properly read? He folds the letter carefully, creasing each edge like his grandmother taught him. Respect the message by respecting its presentation. His phone shows Nextech's address is 12 blocks away, past the glass towers where his mother has never been welcome. The emotional weight settles on his narrow shoulders. His grandmother always said Allah tests people through the innocent, sending children to save adults who've forgotten how to see clearly. Maybe this is his test. Maybe this moment decides who he becomes. He looks at his mother, still refilling water glasses despite her exhaustion, her dignity intact despite Morrison's cruelty. The dollar bill Morrison threw at her feet remains on the restaurant floor, stepped on by passing customers who pretend not to see. Malik picks up the crumpled bill and smooths it flat. He places his Arabic letter inside the fold. Tomorrow morning before school, he'll walk those 12 blocks. He'll stand in that glass lobby until someone listens to a 10-year-old boy carrying his grandmother's wisdom and his mother's unbreakable courage. The executives don't know they're about to be exposed by the child they called illiterate. But first, he has to convince the grown-ups to believe him. Malik wasn't born with languages. They found him. 3 generations ago, his great-grandmother fled Lebanon with nothing but Arabic prayers sewn into her dress lining. His grandmother Fatima escaped Palestine carrying Hebrew, Arabic, and broken English in her refugee suitcase. Now Malik sits in American restaurants collecting words like other kids collect baseball cards. His father disappeared when Malik turned 6, leaving behind child support promises and empty beer bottles. Amara works 60 hours a week across 3 jobs. The restaurant is just one stop on her daily survival marathon. Every evening, Malik waits in that corner booth. Homework first, then languages. His grandmother arrives at 8 o'clock sharp, carrying worn Arabic textbooks and stories that smell like cardamom tea. Every word carries the prayers of your ancestors, Habibi, she whispers, her weathered fingers guiding his pencil through a flowing script. When you speak Arabic, my mother's voice lives again. Malik learns playground Spanish from Marco, kitchen Korean from Mrs. Kim, who saves him leftover rice. But Arabic feels different, sacred, like holding his family's heartbeat in his mouth. School teachers see restaurant kid and lower their expectations. His clothes come from church donation bins. His shoes have holes he covers with black marker. But Malik reads at 10th grade level in both languages. He notices things adults miss. Mrs. Patterson's divorce before she mentioned it. The new busboy's immigration fears. Customers' lies about their tipping ability. 2 years ago, an elderly Iraqi man collapsed during dinner rush. He clutched his chest, speaking rapid Arabic between gasps. The paramedics stood helpless. 8-year-old Malik translated his symptoms, medical history, and medication allergies. The man survived because a child understood his dying words. Amara cried that night, holding her son tight. My baby is special. Malik learned something deeper. Words don't just communicate, they save lives. His grandmother's final lesson echoes daily. Smart children listen more than they speak. Allah gives every person special gifts. Yours is understanding people others ignore. Never let anyone make you feel small because you are young. Tonight, carrying his Arabic letter toward Nextech, Malik finally understands why his grandmother taught him to see what others miss. Grown-ups think children don't understand important things. Maybe they understand them better because they're not scared to see the truth. The next morning, Malik walks 12 blocks through downtown Seattle. Glass towers stretch overhead like giants, judging his worn sneakers and hand-me-down backpack. Nextech's building gleams with success. The lobby smells like expensive coffee and leather chairs his family could never afford. The receptionist, a kind woman with silver hair, smiles down at him. Are you lost, sweetheart? I need to see Mr. Hassan Malik, please. It's about his contract. Malik's voice sounds smaller in the marble space. Oh, honey, Mr. Malik is in very important meetings today. Maybe your parents could call to schedule. Ma'am, it's about people trying to trick him. It's really important. She studies his serious face, his careful posture. Something about his intensity makes her pause. Let me see what I can do. Minutes pass like hours. Malik sits in a chair designed for adult legs, his feet dangling above polished floors. He clutches his folded letter and practices what he'll say. The elevator opens with a soft chime. A man in his early 30s emerges wearing jeans and a Nextech polo shirt. His face carries the gentle exhaustion of someone building dreams one 16-hour day at a time. Hello, young man. I'm Hassan Malik. Sarah says you wanted to see me? Malik stands up straight, just like his grandmother taught him. Yes, sir, I think someone is trying to trick you. Hassan kneels to Malik's eye level, real curiosity replacing polite adult dismissal. What kind of trick? Malik hands him the folded letter. I wrote this for you. I can read what they really put in your contract. Hassan unfolds the paper. His eyebrows rise as he sees careful Arabic script. He reads slowly, his expression shifting from surprise to concern. Where did you learn to write like this? My grandmother Fatima. She's from Palestine, like your father's name sounds. Hassan calls out in Arabic, Omar, come here, please. His younger brother appears. Same gentle eyes, but broader shoulders. The brothers exchange rapid Arabic while Malik listens, understanding every word. This boy says our Morrison contract has different Arabic and English versions, Hassan explains. Omar tests Malik with a complex phrase about contract law. Malik translates perfectly, adding context about legal implications that makes both brothers stare. How old are you? Omar asks gently. 10, but I pay attention to things grown-ups miss. Hassan retrieves the Morrison contract from his briefcase. Malik points to specific Arabic sections, his small finger tracing deceptive clauses. This part says your inventions belong to them forever, he explains in simple words. But the English part makes it sound like friendship. The brothers exchange worried glances. Omar checks his watch. We signed this yesterday at 4 o'clock. The cancellation period ends today at 4, Hassan realizes. We have 8 hours. Malik looks between their panicked faces. I can help more. I remember everything the mean men said at the restaurant. Hassan kneels down again, placing his hands on Malik's shoulders. You might have saved everything our family built. How can we thank you? Just don't let them hurt other families like yours. The elevator opens again. Their lawyer, David Carter, emerges, carrying files and wearing skepticism like expensive cologne. Hassan, what's this about an emergency contract review? And why is there a child in our meeting? Malik stands a little straighter. The real test is about to begin. David Carter sets his briefcase down with authority. His Harvard law degree hangs invisible but heavy around his shoulders. Hassan, with respect, this is a 10-year-old making serious allegations about international contract law. Carter's voice carries the patience adults use for children's fantasies. Perhaps we should discuss this privately. Malik sits quietly between Hassan and the massive conference table, observing how grown-ups build walls with words. Chen continues, Son, legal contracts are very complicated. They use language that takes years of study to understand properly. Mr. Carter, do you speak Arabic? Malik asks politely. Chen pauses. No, I don't. Then maybe I can help you understand what it really says. Before Carter can respond, the conference room door opens. Margaret Harrison enters without knocking, her sharp suit cutting through air like a blade. Morrison Industries' top lawyer has arrived uninvited. David, I wasn't aware we were including the janitorial staff in our contract discussions. Harrison's eyes sweep dismissively over Malik. Surely this child isn't part of our legal consultation. Margaret, this is highly irregular, Carter begins. What's irregular is allowing a minor to waste everyone's time with playground imagination, Harrison interrupts. Perhaps the adults should discuss business while the child finds somewhere more appropriate to play. Malik tugs Hassan's sleeve and whispers, She's being mean because we look different. Hassan's protective instincts flare. My young friend has something important to say. Harrison's laugh sounds like ice breaking. Children have such active imaginations. I'm sure he thinks he understands what he saw. Malik stands up in his chair to gain height. His voice stays calm despite his racing heart. Ma'am, I'm not imagining. I can read what you wrote. He pulls out the contract pages Hassan gave him and points to the Arabic sections. This says, May Allah bless this partnership, and may the American company receive all inventions and future developments forever, regardless of any English provisions. The room falls completely silent. Chen frantically checks his own translation notes. Harrison's face drains color. That's not what our translator confirmed. Harrison stammers. Malik's childhood logic cuts through adult deception like sunlight through fog. Why would you write different things in different languages unless you wanted to hide something? Grandmother says lying in Arabic is extra bad because Allah understands every language. Harrison struggles to respond to such innocent directness. How do you argue with a child who speaks only the truth? Malik opens his notebook, showing quotes he overheard at the restaurant, written in careful English and Arabic script. The man with the blue tie said, easy targets. The one with the watch said, they'll never read the fine print properly. Harrison attempts damage control. A child's hearsay isn't admissible evidence in any court. Chen suddenly shows interest. Actually, if there's a pattern of deceptive translation across multiple contracts, Hassan's confidence grows. Margaret, how many other Arabic-speaking companies have you partnered with recently? Omar joins the conversation. Hassan, remember the Somali developers who complained about their contract terms last month? Malik looks up at the adults with pure innocence. Are there other Arabic families who got tricked too? The emotional weight shifts in the room. Adults realize they're witnessing something unprecedented. Harrison's barely concealed panic shows in her trembling hands. This is ridiculous. We're being accused of conspiracy by a child who probably can't even spell contract. Malik quietly pulls out his homework notebook and writes contract in perfect English cursive, then again in flowing Arabic script. I can spell it in 2 languages, ma'am. The tide has turned. Truth doesn't require age or credentials. It just requires courage to speak. Hassan's conference room transforms into a war room within an hour. Omar arranges phones and laptops while Carter spreads legal documents across the mahogany table. Malik sits at the head, his school backpack looking tiny against the executive leather chair. I need all your Arabic contracts, Malik announces with startling authority for a 10-year-old. The bad people probably use the same tricks on everyone. Hassan makes calls while Malik examines documents with surgical precision. His small fingers trace deceptive clauses, his grandmother's training guiding every discovery. This medical equipment contract says the doctors have to give away all their recipes for free, he explains to Carter in simple terms. This restaurant one says the owners can't cook their own food anymore. Omar handles incoming calls from other Arabic-speaking business owners. Word spreads quickly through Seattle's tight immigrant community. 3 companies arrive within 2 hours carrying suspicious contracts and growing fears. Malik organizes evidence with pure childhood logic. He creates colored folders, red for very bad contracts, yellow for tricky but not stealing, green for fair contracts. His system actually helps the lawyers understand patterns faster than their complex legal matrices. The Ethiopian medical student's contract. Malik points to a red folder. Same lying words hidden inside prayers. They think because it mentions Allah, it must be honest. Chen watches in amazement as Malik switches between languages during phone calls. Arabic with the doctors, Somali with the restaurant owners. Perfect English when explaining legal concepts to adults twice his age. This clause sounds nice in English but mean in Arabic, Malik tells a confused engineer over speakerphone. It's like when bullies at school say just kidding after being mean. They're not really kidding. The breakthrough comes when Malik discovers Morrison's website template contracts. He finds the same deceptive Arabic phrases across dozens of documents. Look, they practice lying before they meet people, he tells the room. They have the same stealing words ready for everyone. His laptop screen shows Morrison Industries targeting 15 companies systematically, all owned by Arabic-speaking immigrants, all containing identical fraudulent clauses disguised as religious blessings. It's like copying homework but making all the answers wrong on purpose, Malik explains to a news reporter who arrives unexpectedly. The local television crew films Malik translating contracts in real time. His serious concentration contrasts sharply with his Superman backpack and sneakers that light up when he walks. Is this really the child who exposed the fraud ring? The reporter asks Hassan. Malik hides behind Omar, suddenly remembering he's still just a 10-year-old thrust into an adult world of legal battles and media attention. He's not a story, Hassan protects firmly. He's a hero. By afternoon, Morrison Industries strikes back. Their lawyers threaten legal action, claiming Malik and his family are industrial spies conducting corporate espionage. News vans line the street outside Nextech. Social media explodes with #MalikTheHero hashtags. The story spreads globally. 10-year-old exposes multi-million-dollar fraud. The pressure builds like storm clouds. Morrison's retaliation targets Malik's immigration status, his mother's employment, his family's right to stay in America. Chen reviews the threats seriously. They're going after you personally now, Malik. Malik looks around the room at all the worried adult faces. People who've survived wars and persecution now fear a 10-year-old's testimony. Bad people always try to scare good people, he says with startling wisdom. But grandmother says truth is stronger than fear. His calm centers the panicked room. Sometimes children lead adults back to courage. Judge Patricia Wells arrives like authority itself. 62 years old, silver hair pulled back severely, she carries 30 years of federal bench experience in her confident stride. Her black BMW parks outside Nextech at exactly 3 o'clock. Hassan introduces her as his family's longtime friend. Judge Wells, this is Malik, the young man I told you about. Malik instinctively stands when introduced, his grandmother's manners training kicking in automatically. Wells removes her reading glasses and studies the evidence spread across the conference table. She examines Malik's handwritten translations with the precision of someone who's determined truth from lies for 3 decades. These linguistic analysis notes are remarkably sophisticated, she observes, magnifying glass moving over Arabic script. Young man, how old did you say you were? 10, ma'am, but I pay very close attention to words. Wells speaks to Malik in formal legal language, testing his comprehension. Do you understand the difference between contractual obligations and recommended practices? Malik considers carefully before answering. Like the difference between you have to and it would be nice if you did? Judge Wells' eyebrows rise with genuine surprise. Exactly correct. Chen shows her the pattern evidence. Morrison Industries' systematic targeting of Arabic-speaking entrepreneurs. 15 companies, $67 million in attempted theft. All traced back to one 10-year-old boy's restaurant observation. Your Honor, Carter explains, this child identified what appears to be organized fraud spanning 3 states. Wells reviews federal precedents on her tablet. Her legal mind processes implications while watching Malik organize evidence folders with childlike efficiency. Son, do you understand what you've uncovered here? She asks gently. Malik's honesty cuts straight to the truth. Judge Wells, I don't know all the fancy words, but I know when someone is trying to hurt my friends, and the Arabic words are definitely trying to hurt them. Wells sets down her magnifying glass. In 30 years on the federal bench, she's rarely seen contract analysis this clear from trained lawyers, let alone a 5th grader. This young man has identified systematic commercial fraud, she announces to the room. His linguistic evidence could prevent millions in theft. The validation moment arrives with ceremonial weight. Judge Wells removes her reading glasses and offers them to Malik. These helped me see the truth for 3 decades. Now they can help you. Malik tries them on, too big for his small face, but he feels 10 feet tall wearing them. Amara enters quietly, still wearing her restaurant uniform from the morning shift. She watches her son being honored by one of Seattle's most respected judges. Tears gather in Wells' eyes as she observes the mother's pride mixing with exhaustion. Miss Johnson, your son has wisdom I've seen in maybe 5 people during my entire career, she tells Amara privately. Nurture this gift. The world needs voices like his. Wells makes the call that changes everything. Her phone rings the federal prosecutor's office directly. This is Patricia Wells. I need to speak with Sarah Martinez immediately about a RICO case. The speakerphone crackles with authority. If Judge Wells endorses evidence, we expedite the investigation. From this moment forward, Wells announces to the room, this young man's linguistic analysis becomes our primary evidence. Anyone questioning his expertise questions my professional judgment. The emotional weight of adult recognition settles on Malik's shoulders. He's no longer just a restaurant kid with homework. He's become a federal witness carrying his family's hopes and his community's protection. Wells kneels to his eye level one final time. Your grandmother raised a champion of justice, Malik. She would be proud beyond words. Malik touches the oversized reading glasses. Will you help me save the other families too? We'll save them together. Evening settles over downtown Seattle. The Next Tech office empties except for Hassan, Omar, and Malik. City lights twinkle through floor-to-ceiling windows like earthbound stars. Hassan brings Malik a steaming cup of Arabic hot chocolate made with cardamom and cinnamon, just like his father's recipe from Damascus. Uncle Hassan, did your grandmother teach you Arabic too? Malik asks, small hands wrapped around the warm mug. Hassan settles into the chair beside him, exhaustion showing in his gentle smile. My father taught me. Every evening after he finished cleaning office buildings, we'd practice English together. He'd say, in America, son, your words become your wings. Why did your family have to leave Syria? Hassan's voice grows quiet. War came to our neighborhood. Bombs fell on my university. My father gathered what he could carry and told us, we rebuild somewhere safe. Malik listens with the intensity children reserve for adult truths. That's like when my dad left, but worse. Your father left too? When I was 6. Mama says some people get scared when life gets hard. Malik sips his chocolate thoughtfully. But she never gets scared. She just works harder. Hassan reaches into his jacket pocket and pulls out worn prayer beads, dark wood polished smooth by decades of worried fingers. My father carried these from Damascus to Seattle. Every bead represents a hope for his children's future. Hassan places them gently in Malik's small palms. He died before seeing our company succeed, but today you saved his dream. Malik touches each bead reverently. They feel like my grandmother's worry beads. Uncle Hassan, sometimes kids at school say mean things about Mama working at restaurants. They say she's not important. Hassan kneels to eye level, his voice firm with conviction. Today, your mother helped save my entire family's future. She raised a son who protects strangers. That makes her one of the most important people I've ever met. Malik beams at the validation, then grows serious again. I helped stop bad people? You didn't just help, Habibi. You led us to the truth when we were blind to it. Omar bursts through the conference room door, his face grave with urgency. The federal hearing is tomorrow morning at 9. They want Malik to explain the translations via video link. Malik's first real nervousness surfaces. Will lots of people watch me? Hassan remembers David facing Goliath, a small shepherd boy standing before giants. Remember the story from Sunday school? You're David with your slingshot of truth. But David had God helping him. Hassan's smile carries his father's wisdom. So do you, Habibi. And you have all of us standing beside you. The emotional bond deepens beyond cultural connection. Two families separated by generation and geography, united by courage and hope. Tomorrow the whole world watches. The Seattle Federal Courthouse stands like a granite monument to justice. Morning rain creates rivers down its stone columns as media vans circle like vultures. Headlines scream from every phone screen. 10-year-old versus corporate giants. Malik walks up those courthouse steps wearing his Sunday best. a borrowed Navy suit from the mosque donation bin. The jacket sleeves cover his hands completely. Judge Wells's oversized reading glasses hang from a chain around his neck like a talisman of courage. Inside, photographers' flashes explode like lightning. Reporters shout questions over each other, creating chaos that overwhelms his young senses. Malik! How does it feel to take on a Fortune 500 company? Are you scared of powerful lawyers? Do you understand what you've started? Malik hides behind Amara's protective embrace, suddenly remembering he's still just a 10-year-old boy thrust into an adult war that could reshape corporate America. Federal Judge Michael Torres presides over Courtroom 7A. The chamber fills with expensive suits, clicking cameras, and the weight of millions of dollars hanging in legal balance. Gallery seats pack with federal prosecutors, immigrant rights advocates, and corporate defense attorneys sensing blood in the water. Morrison Industries arrives in force. James Morrison III leads a team of 5 attorneys, each carrying briefcases worth more than Malik's family's annual rent. Their strategy is simple: destroy the child's credibility before he can speak a word. Your Honor, Morrison's lead counsel begins, his voice dripping with educated condescension. We're being asked to take seriously the fantasies of a 10-year-old whose mother works as a waitress. This child has no legal training, no credentials, no understanding of complex international business structures. The attack continues with surgical precision designed to eviscerate before defending. Children confuse what they think they hear with reality. They see patterns where none exist. They create elaborate stories to gain adult attention. This boy has clearly been coached by individuals seeking to damage our client's sterling reputation. Malik sits in the witness preparation room, watching the proceedings on a video monitor. His small hands shake as Morrison's lawyers paint him as either a liar or a pawn in some elaborate conspiracy. Federal prosecutor Sarah Martinez kneels beside him, her voice gentle but firm. Just tell the truth like you told Judge Wells. That's all anyone can do in this world. When Malik's video testimony begins, the courtroom screen fills with his serious face. The borrowed suit makes him look even smaller, more vulnerable. Judge Torres speaks with grandfatherly gentleness. Hello, young man. Please state your name and age for the record. My name is Malik Johnson. I'm 10 years old and in 5th grade at Roosevelt Elementary School in Seattle. Morrison's attorney immediately launches his preemptive strike. Your Honor, this child cannot possibly understand international contract law. We respectfully request competency evaluation before proceeding. Judge Torres addresses Malik directly, bypassing the legal maneuvering. Son, do you know what it means to tell the truth under oath? Malik's answer cuts through legal complexity with childhood clarity that embarrasses every adult in the room. Yes, sir. It means lying hurts people, and I don't want to hurt anybody ever. The testimony begins simply but builds devastating momentum. Malik holds contract pages up to the camera, reading Arabic clauses in his clear, unshakable young voice. He translates each section into simple English that even children could understand. This part says Uncle Hassan's company has to give away all their inventions forever, even if they change their minds later. Morrison's team launches their coordinated legal assault like wolves attacking a lamb. Objection! This child is clearly reading from prepared notes. This testimony is coached and therefore inadmissible. Malik looks genuinely confused by the accusation, his innocence more damaging than any lawyer's argument. Sir, I'm reading what's written on the paper. Do you want me to read something different? The pure innocence of his response creates uncomfortable silence that stretches across the packed courtroom. Prosecutor Martinez introduces Morrison's internal emails as evidence. The smoking gun message appears on courtroom screens in bold, damning font. Ensure Arabic families don't receive accurate translations. Use religious language to mask permanent ownership transfers. The evidence trail expands like dominoes falling. 15 companies targeted, $67 million in systematic theft, all traced back to one 10-year-old's restaurant observation. Morrison's lawyer abandons legal strategy and goes directly for the throat. Your Honor, we're being destroyed by coached testimony from a welfare child whose single mother can't even support him properly. The personal attack hits like a physical blow. Malik's face crumbles. His voice becomes small and hurt, the confident translator replaced by a wounded little boy. What's wrong with my mama being a waitress? She works really hard to take care of me. The courtroom falls silent. Even hardened reporters feel the cruelty of attacking a child's family circumstances on national television. Judge Torres intervenes sharply, his judicial patience finally exhausted. Counsel will not attack a minor witness's family situation again, or you'll be held in contempt. But the damage shows in Malik's trembling lips. For a moment, the 10-year-old boy overwhelms the linguistic prodigy everyone came to witness. Then Amara appears briefly on the video link during a recess, her restaurant uniform wrinkled but her dignity intact like armor. Baby, there's nothing wrong with honest work. You're here because you have a gift from Allah, not because we're poor. Her words restore Malik's courage. He straightens in his chair, touches Judge Wells' reading glasses for strength, and continues with renewed determination. The mountain of evidence grows impossible to deny. Federal investigators present Morrison's targeting pattern, all Arabic-speaking immigrants, all containing identical fraudulent clauses disguised as religious blessings. The Ethiopian medical students lost 3 patents, Malik explains to the camera with heartbreaking precision. The Somali restaurant owners can't use their own recipes anymore. The Syrian doctors have to work for free now. Morrison's expert witness, Dr. Sarah Feldman, attempts to challenge Malik's translations. She claims his Arabic is amateur level with significant comprehension errors. This awakens something fierce in Malik. He switches to formal classical Arabic, then Kurdish, then Farsi, correcting Dr. Feldman's pronunciation with gentle but devastating accuracy. Dr. Feldman, with respect, that word means partnership in casual Arabic, but in legal documents it means surrender everything. My grandmother taught me the difference. The expert witness admits publicly that a 10-year-old's Arabic surpasses her university training. Morrison III loses complete composure, his careful facade cracking completely. Your Honor, this is absurd. We're letting some ghetto kid destroy American business with fairy tales. The racist mask slips completely. Cameras catch every word for global broadcast and eternal record. Judge Torres brings his gavel down hard. Mr. Morrison, you will conduct yourself properly or be removed from these proceedings immediately. The emotional crescendo builds as Malik realizes the scope of his impact. Tears gather in his eyes, not from fear, but from understanding the magnitude of families he's protecting. Judge, sir, I just wanted to help Uncle Hassan, but if my words can save other families too, then I'm glad I was brave enough to speak. The ruling comes swift and decisive. Judge Torres reviews the mountain of evidence Malik's discovery created. Based on evidence presented, primarily through young Mr. Johnson's linguistic analysis, this court finds clear and convincing evidence of systematic fraud conspiracy. All Morrison Industries contracts are voided pending full federal investigation. The gavel falls with finality that echoes across America. Malik appears on the screen one last time, touching Hassan's prayer beads. Uncle Hassan, we won. Hassan mouths, "Thank you," with tears streaming down his face. The courtroom erupts in applause that echoes across the nation. The courthouse steps explode with media chaos. Malik emerges holding Amara's hand, Hassan's prayer beads clutched in his other palm. Camera flashes create lightning storms around his small figure. Malik, how does it feel to be America's youngest hero? What's next for the boy who took down corporate giants? Will you become a lawyer when you grow up? Judge Wells steps forward as spokesperson, her authority creating instant silence. Today, the wisdom and courage of a 10-year-old child prevented millions in theft from immigrant families. Federal Prosecutor Martinez announces the expanding investigation. Morrison Industries faces RICO charges across 3 states. Additional victims continue coming forward. Social media explodes instantly. Malik the hero trends globally within an hour. Truth has no age reaches 12 million shares by evening. Comments flood every platform. My kid notices things adults miss too. International coverage spreads like wildfire. BBC leads with Seattle schoolboy exposes corporate conspiracy. Al Jazeera features 10-year-old protects Arab entrepreneurs. The story resonates across continents, touching every family with children who see clearly. Malik and Amara return to Meridian Restaurant the next day. The entire staff lines the entrance, applauding. Cook Maria has tears streaming down her face. Our boy saved the world! The corner booth where Malik discovered the conspiracy now displays a bronze plaque, Truth Corner, where Malik Johnson changed history. Customers leave flowers and notes of gratitude. Hassan arrives carrying an official envelope, his face glowing with gratitude and excitement. The federal reward for exposing systematic fraud totals $100,000. Malik stares at the check, his young mind struggling to comprehend the number of zeros. Is that really for me? It's for your future, Habibi, and your mama's dreams, Hassan explains gently. Amara's tears flow freely. For the first time in years, financial pressure lifts from her shoulders like heavy stones finally removed. Baby, this means you can be anything you want. Malik's response captures his pure heart. I still want to help families like Uncle Hassan's. The University of Washington calls within hours. They offer full scholarships for Malik's future education, plus immediate enrollment in their gifted linguistics program. Seattle Public Schools created the Malik Johnson Award for Linguistic Excellence in his honor. The local mosque announces an Arabic studies expansion program. Imam Rahman declares, "This child reminds our community that Allah speaks through the innocent and brave." Professional recognition floods in rapidly. The Federal Bureau of Investigation requests future consulting when Malik reaches 18. Translation service companies offer partnership contracts. Children's book publishers compete for his story rights. 3 days later, Morrison Industries' complete collapse became national news. FBI raids reveal fraud spanning 7 years. 15 companies receive full restitution. James Morrison III faces 8 years in federal prison. The ripple effect expands globally. Similar translation fraud investigations launch in Canada, Australia, and the United Kingdom. Malik's discovery method became an FBI training protocol. Congressional attention follows immediately. Senator Patricia Murray's office calls personally. The Malik Act enters federal legislation, requiring certified translation for all contracts exceeding $50,000. Georgetown University created the Children's Legal Analysis Program, using Malik's case as a foundational study. Law schools nationwide add his testimony to their curriculum. The personal transformation unfolds beautifully. Amara enrolls in business school, planning to open truth translation services for immigrant families. Her first client, Hassan's expanding company. Judge Wells arranges a private meeting in her former chambers. I've spoken with the University of Washington Law School dean. They're creating an immigrant legal aid clinic. They need someone who understands both languages and justice. Would you consider directing it when you're ready? Malik's eyes shine with possibility. Can I help kids like me find their voices too? The community response overwhelms everyone involved. Local businesses donate services. The neighborhood elementary school invites Malik as a permanent guest speaker. Parents ask their children, "What do you notice that we adults miss?" Hassan presents the ultimate symbolic gift. A custom briefcase appears, small enough for Malik's hands but crafted with executive-level quality. Inside, his father's prayer beads, Judge Wells' reading glasses, and Malik's first contract analysis. Tools for someone who speaks for those who cannot speak, Hassan explains through tears. The restaurant's goodbye ceremony became a community celebration. Malik's last shift brings surprise guests from across Seattle. Customers he served for years finally see him clearly. The manager presents a framed dollar bill. "Your first tip, Malik. You showed us that no honest work makes anyone small." Malik's phone call home to his extended family becomes legend. His father's absence suddenly feels less important. His grandmother Fatima's spirit fills every conversation. "Grandmother always said I would help people with languages," he tells reporters. "I just thought it would be when I grew up." The federal legislation signing ceremony happens 6 months later. Malik watches from the Capitol Gallery as the president signs the Malik Act into law. His 10-year-old discovery became national protection for immigrant entrepreneurs. Congressional testimony follows. Malik addresses the House Judiciary Committee via video link, explaining how children's observations can protect adults who've lost their ability to see clearly. The academic honors accumulate rapidly. Harvard Law School creates the Johnson Fellowship for Multilingual Legal Scholars. Oxford University requests his case study for their International Justice program. Corporate consulting offers arrive daily. Fortune 500 companies want to hire the boy who exposed their vulnerability to linguistic fraud. Malik politely declines, focusing on protecting rather than profiting. The symbolic completion arrives during Malik's 11th birthday celebration. Hassan and Omar present him with Nextech's first patent certificate. "This exists because you saved our dreams." The certificate bears a special inscription: "Protected by truth, preserved by courage, dedicated to Malik Johnson." 1 year later, the transformation became a permanent legacy. Malik directs the University of Washington's Child Linguistic Rights Center. Amara serves as program coordinator while completing her MBA. The center prevents 89 contract frauds in its first year, $23 million saved for immigrant families, 200 children trained to identify translation deception. Morrison Industries dissolves completely. Its assets fund victim restitution and fraud prevention education. James Morrison III begins his 8-year sentence, his corporate empire reduced to memory. Hassan's company thrives beyond imagination. Nextech's valuation reaches $150 million. The company employs 340 refugees and immigrants, all protected by Malik-approved contracts. The global impact continues expanding. 12 countries adopt child witness protection protocols for fraud cases. The United Nations references Malik's testimony in international children's rights treaties. His story translates into 47 languages. Children worldwide learn that age doesn't determine wisdom's value. The corner booth at Meridian Restaurant becomes a pilgrimage destination. Families bring their children to see where one boy's courage changed the world. The bronze plaque reads simply, "Truth spoke here through small hands and brave hearts." 6 months after the trial, Malik walks through the University of Washington campus wearing a student ID badge that reads, "Malik Johnson, JD Candidate Director, Immigrant Legal Aid Clinic." At 11 years old, he's the youngest program director in university history. Law students twice his age learn contract translation under his patient guidance. The clinic's success exceeds every projection. 47 contract frauds prevented in 6 months, $12 million saved for immigrant families, 15 student translators trained in Malik's detection methods. The ripple effect continues expanding globally. Morrison Industries' complete dissolution sends shockwaves through corporate America. 3 additional translation fraud rings collapse using Malik's investigative techniques. $67 million in restitution flows to defrauded families. FBI creates the Johnson Protocol for linguistic fraud detection. Federal prosecutors credit one 10-year-old's restaurant observation with revolutionizing white-collar crime investigation. Hassan's success story inspires international headlines. Nextech's valuation reaches $200 million. The company employs 430 refugees and immigrants, all protected by clinic-approved contracts. "One child's courage built our empire," Hassan tells Bloomberg reporters. Malik taught us that wisdom doesn't require age, just clear eyes and brave hearts. The personal transformation continues unfolding beautifully. Amara graduates business school with highest honors. Truth Translation Services becomes Seattle's premier immigrant business consultancy. 3 generations working together. Grandmother Fatima as cultural consultant, Amara as business leader, Malik as linguistic director. The continuing mission expands beyond Seattle. Portland and San Francisco open satellite clinics. The Malik method spreads to universities nationwide. Children identify translation errors in standardized tests, medical documents, even voting ballots. Judge Wells arranges Malik's private moment in the empty courtroom where his testimony changed everything. Afternoon light streams through tall windows, illuminating the witness stand that made a 10-year-old into a national hero. Sometimes the most powerful person in the room is the one everyone ignores, Malik reflects, his voice carrying wisdom that shouldn't fit in someone so young. The living legacy grows daily. Documentary crews follow Malik's expanding influence. Children across America ask parents, "What do you see that adults miss?" The question reverses traditional power dynamics, making listening to children a national priority. His nonprofit, Children See Truth Foundation, connects underemployed immigrants with opportunities matching their hidden skills. The scholarship fund, From Small Voices to Big Changes, supports multilingual children pursuing legal careers. Corporate consulting requests arrive weekly. Fortune 500 companies want Malik's methods for identifying internal deception. He accepts selectively, always prioritizing protection over profit. Annual Hidden Heroes Recognition Awards celebrate adults discovered through children's observations. Teachers, janitors, taxi drivers with PhD degrees, refugees with medical expertise, immigrants with technological innovations. The emotional call to action emerges naturally from Malik's ongoing work. Right now, someone serving you coffee might speak 5 languages, he tells the audience. Someone cleaning your office might have engineering degrees. Someone you pass without noticing might be exactly who you need. The practical challenge reaches every viewer personally. This week, learn the name of one service worker you encounter daily. Ask about their story, their dreams, their expertise. Recognition becomes the first step toward justice. Malik's foundation website, childrenseetruth.org, connects families with skills recognition programs. Community colleges partner with corporations for immigrant talent utilization. Hidden expertise becomes visible through systematic attention. The final image captures transformation perfectly. Malik trains new volunteers at the clinic surrounded by former refugees now serving as law students, business owners, medical professionals. Each person holds a sign displaying their hidden talent. Arabic calligraphy decorates the clinic walls. Every person carries a gift the world needs. The quotable closing comes in Malik's own words, delivered with the authority of someone who changed history before reaching middle school. Your value isn't determined by who sees you. It's determined by who you choose to see, and when you see clearly, everything changes. The final call to action resonates with lasting impact. If this story moved you, share it with a child. Ask them what they notice that adults miss. Tag someone who deserves recognition. Because maybe, just maybe, you'll help someone realize they're not invisible. They're essential. Like and subscribe for more stories of courage at every age. The lingering impact question stays with viewers long after the story ends. Who am I not seeing? The challenge to recognize invisible talent transforms daily interactions. Understanding that language equals power, and shared power multiplies impact. Personal agency creates systemic justice. Individual recognition generates collective change. Hope that every child's truth can reshape the world. Final statistics scroll across the screen. 15 companies saved, 67 million recovered, 1 federal law changed, 340 jobs protected, 200 children trained, millions of lives touched. All because one 10-year-old refused to stay quiet.
At Black Voices Uncut, we don't polish away the pain or water down the message. We tell it like it is because the truth deserves nothing less. If today's story spoke to you, click like, join the conversation in the comments, and subscribe so you'll be here for the next Uncut Voice.